Hello and welcome. This is Fireworks, your preferred hard-talk interview program on TVC. I am Bukola Samuel Wemimo. Today we continue our attempt at understanding Osun politics, especially with the upcoming governorship election. What has changed since 2010? What will be informing the decision of voters as they go to the polls in September? This and more we'll be putting through to our guest today on the program, and he's a stakeholder in Osun politics. Let's take a short break, during which, as usual, you get to know who my guest is, and then we'll be right back. Thank you for staying tuned to Fireworks. Today my guest is the Commissioner for Justice and Attorney General of Osun State in the person of Dr. Ajibola Bashir. Thank you for your time, sir.
How are you?
Now you have served this government diligently, and your promotion to, so to speak, promotion to the position of Commissioner for Justice in this administration's second term must have been a big promotion. Well, yeah, must have been gratifying for you. That's the word.
I wouldn't see it first as promotion. Two, I wouldn't see it as gratifying. I think public service is an act that is should be the most noble act. It's only in a climb like that where the political economy is underdeveloped, and that being a government official is seen as a form of gratification. Right from the word go, the whole idea of Rauf Aregbesola coming to Osun is about serving the people, is about changing the dynamics of governance, dynamics of development in the state of Osun. So I would rather see the appointment as a call to serve in another capacity. In the first time of the Aregbesola administration, I served as Commissioner for Regional Integration and the Special Duty. So presently I'm serving as Attorney General, and tomorrow you may not know what other assignment may be given in the context of a cabinet position. So I would not see it as a promotion. I would not see it as gratifying. I will see it as a call to service, to dedicate to realization of the vision of our leader, Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola.
Interesting, but some would see moving through the ranks, as Commissioner for Regional Integration, Special Duties, to the exalted office of Attorney General as a promotion, but we'll take your explanation for it. Now, you talk about the administration of Aregbesola. A lot have seen him as, they identify him with the governor of Ekiti State, as a man loved by the people, because he also identifies with them in a unique way. He tries to address their needs. Do you agree with this position that he also builds stomach infrastructure in Osun State?
The term stomach infrastructure is a dubious term as far as I'm concerned. There is no such thing as infrastructure in the stomach. Rather than seeing it from that perspective, I will see that Rauf Aregbesola is a person whose government has invested in what I call social protection program. And the idea of social protection is what is gaining currency in terms of government being responsible for the people. Mind you, by the Nigerian Constitution, the primary purpose of governance, as clearly stated in Chapter 2, I think Section 14, 2C of the Constitution, is that welfare of the people and security is the paramount purpose of government. So what Rauf Aregbesola has done is to introduce and then institutionalize social protection policy, which serve as a buffer for the people against hunger, and poverty and degradation. So no wonder when the National Bureau of Statistics and some other agencies that gather data put Osun as one of the states, if not the best state, in terms of a Human Development Index in Nigeria, and also in terms of poverty alleviation and eradication. Osun is also placed very high, I think, after Lagos. What are these social protection programs, so that I won't just be talking English? One, at the inception of the administration, just as promised in the Green Book, which was the covenant of Rauf Aregbesola with the people, within 100 days in office, 20,000 youths were engaged in Osun Youth Empowerment Scheme to do social works, and also to give them a reorientation that work labor productivity is the hallmark of development. This was successful. It was unprecedented in the history, of the country. You can just imagine to bring 20,000 people on board. We discovered the enormity of the task when we could not get a single camp throughout Nigeria where there's a facility to train 20,000 youth. We have to decentralize it. You have to procure trainers. You have to get equipment and so on and so forth. That was also followed by another 20,000 batch after 2 years of OES. So today, youth empowerment scheme has been able to engage 20,000 youths. The question is, were these youth employed? No, they were not employed, but they were engaged as volunteers, paid allowances of 10,000 naira, they were given orientation, which has changed their perspective of our life and facing challenges of life. That's one aspect of the social protection program, which I will not call stomach infrastructure. Because
apart
now,
from the
today,
OES, I gather
today
that
the United
there's
World Bank,
also another program, Agba Osun,
now
where the elderly also get stipend.
I'll go to that too. This OES scheme has now been adopted nationally by the World Bank, called YESO. That's a serious endorsement of the policy in terms of social protection and youth engagement. Also is what you mentioned, Agba Osun. What we did was that, why it is not really seen as stomach infrastructure, which I understand to be trying to patronize the people by way of just dishing out like this. A gerontologist from Obafemi Law University was engaged by the government to research into adults above 65 years old that are vulnerable in society. My mother, more than 65 years old, she's not vulnerable, mother of a lawyer and the politician. So it's not a political patronage, but really a system aimed at addressing vulnerability of those who are senior citizens. And apart from the monthly allowance of 10,000 naira, medical corps were also established who go to houses to ensure that the medical needs of those were done. There's also the Osun ambulance scheme too, which is also part of the social protection program, by which free ambulance services are given for the needy, for those who had accident when the PDP came for a rally in Osun, and some of them were involved in accident. This is the facility of the old ambulance that was used to give them. Then you also talk about the school feeding program. Yes, I must admit that school feeding program had been in existence in this state and some other states, but it was rejuvenated by Aregbesola administration, by which about 3,000 women were engaged as food vendors. That means that some form of employment were provided for them. But aside the fact that children are fed, by which the nutritional value is also increased, which according to scientists will have impact on the mental development of those children at that age, because students at elementary 1 to 4 in Osun are fed in public school every school day since the inception of this administration.
How would you rate your government in terms of compliance with the rule of law? I mean, that's within your immediate jurisdiction.
This is a government that actually is a product of rule of law. I've not seen anybody coming forward to come and say our government is not obeying law in terms of court order, in terms of compliance, with procedure. And this is also, a government that has taken an iron hand, even against members of the ruling party, when they decided to take law into their hand. At the inception of this administration, some overzealous members of our party who thought it was an opportunity for them to harass the then now opposition party for what misdeed they have done to them, took the law into their hand.
We're talking about the same government that 7 months into its first tenure didn't appoint commissioners. The same government 30 months into its second term is until when it appointed commissioners. You were appointed about 30 months ago as Commissioner for Justice.
I want to ask you.
So,
I want to ask
and we know, you and I know that the Constitution provides that a governor should work with commissioners in the same way the Constitution provides that a president should work with ministers.
There is difference between permissive provision and mandatory provision. Permissive provisions are provisions that facilitate which you may utilize for the purpose of achievement of certain causes. I would rather say that provision on appointment of commissioner is permissive provision and not a mandatory provision. A mandatory provision is a provision that there is actual compulsion in compliance, and there are usually sanctions for non-compliance. So I will not say that because you have not made use of a facilitative provision, you are in breach of the law. there appear to be a misconception about the nature of a presidential system which is adopted at the state level and at the federal level. You see, the scheme of power sharing under our constitution are provided in sections 4, section 5, and section 6. Section 4 is on legislative powers, and they are vested in National Assembly at the federal level and the State Assembly at the state level.
So this
section 5 provides for executive
not to make use of this permissive provision.
Yes.
Is it in line with the spirit of the law? There is a letter of the law and the spirit of the law.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you, and that's what I'm going to what I'm talking about. Section 5 of the Constitution, and you may well check it. Vested executive powers of the state. You can Google it. Executive powers of the state in the governor, and it provides he may exercise it directly or through any other person. So that means it's just not a question of spirit of constitution. The spirit of constitution is that really when you elect a governor and a deputy governor, the executive power by section 5 is vested in them. So what a commissioner does is to assist by way of delegation from the governor in carrying out activities. Meanwhile, when you are talking of what is even the work of a commissioner, it's more supervisory and directory of the bureaucracy. What really the bulwark of governance is actually placed on the public service. And at that point in time, there were in place permanent secretary. So the question of appointment of commissioner and spirit of constitution, it is just in the figment of anybody's imagination.
Convenient.
If the section 5, let me give you section 5 which you can read, if there had been the contemplation to be in the spirit of the constitution, it would have said the governor is vested with executive power and shall exercise it in conjunction with the commissioner. But it says it may exercise it directly. So that means that all functions of government, the only constitutional provision on appointment of commissioner is that of my office of Attorney General.
7 months, after 7 months was when commissioners were appointed in the first term, and after 30 months was when commissioners were appointed in the second term. So how much has been saved for Osun?
I can't mention a figure, but I'll give you an idea about it is. Even though by law, we are, as commissioners, we're entitled to a car. I'll give you an example. You have 25 commissioners, and you want to buy not even an SUV, a Toyota Offensive for them. The market value is between 21 and 23 million. Just multiply it by the number of the amount that you do. And when you look at the time value of money, if you expend 250 million today, or you save it for infrastructure, and you now later expended the money, it's a saving for the state. But even as I'm speaking now, 30 months ago appointed a commissioner, we don't have official car. Some of us still stay in our residences because there are no need for us to expend government expenditure in terms of being able to do so. So then too, you also look at, when you look at commissioner, it's not commissioner alone you are appointing. Every commissioner will have a political driver, we have a personal assistant, there will be some crop of other political office holders like senior special assistant that will be appointed. So you're not just talking about 25 or 30 people, you are talking of a bulwark of an office that costs its own. There's also running costs. Newspaper will have to be bought for commissioners, telephone allowances will have to be given. So it's a lot of saving. You see, one of the major problems of governance in Nigeria.
We'll find out just how much has been saved, Honorable Commissioner and Attorney General. But that'll be after the break. You're watching Fireworks. If you've been following this conversation, I am talking with the Honorable Commissioner and Attorney General of Osun State, Dr. Ajibola Bashir. Stay with Fireworks. We'll be right back. Thank you for staying tuned to Fireworks. If you've been following this conversation, I'm talking with the Honorable Commissioner and Attorney General of Osun State, Dr. Ajibola Bashir. We've been looking at the things that have changed in Osun since 2010. You were talking about what has been saved in terms of prudence in the office, in the state government. But with a state that has a current debt profile of 143 billion or thereabouts. So where have the savings gone to?
The engine of development of modern world is deficit financing. In private, corporate, and public life, the only way you can advance is by taking debt. And that is why even in our company law, there's provision for debentures, which is to ensure that debt are taken by a company. So even public
But there's
infrastructure.
also debt credibility, Honorable
The
Commissioner.
question is this.
Your ability to service your debt if you're
I ask you a question
taking
like
a
this.
debt.
Financial
And
institutions.
so what comes to
Are you
Osun-
saying we are not
what
servicing?
comes to Osun from federal allocation? What comes to Osun as internally generated revenue?
Before you-
Now let's weigh that or compare that with 143 billion naira debt profile.
What is it? When you're talking about 143 billion, you are talking as if they will ask Osun to pay 143 billion today. It will interest you that till today we are still paying part of the debt that was raised in Western Nigeria by Chief Obafemi Awolowo. When you are talking of a debt profile, you look at it vis-a-vis the GDP of the state. You look at it vis-a-vis what has been done with 143 billion. I don't know whether you have time to drive around Osun and you see what this money has been spent for. So it's not about you take loan, use it for consumption, or you did not administer it properly. You have seen. I'll give you an example. One of the things that the debt was used for is the Clover flyover at Egbongon Road, which anybody entering Osun will have seen. At the time the facility was taken and the contract was granted, dollar was just 180 naira. Today, dollar is 360 naira at the minimum. If you had waited for you to earn the money by way of revenue before you do so, of course, whatever gains you could make there is to have been wiped out. We are talking of a 100% increment in foreign exchange, not talk of inflation. So when you borrow to do infrastructure, what you have done is that you have made a big savings because the cost of the borrowing can never be up to what will happen subsequently. Aside the foreign exchange issue, it's also the question of inflation. A bag of cement, when the road was being constructed and the facility was taken, was just about 1,700 naira. Today is excess of 2,500 naira per bag. So what I'm saying is that by taking the bold move to galvanize development in Osun and take this facility in an atmosphere of transparency.
Transparency is debatable because we cannot access your account books, but
we publish our audited account every year since this administration. It's in the public.
You boast of the state of Osun's debt capacity, the state of Osun's capacity to finance its debt.
Yes.
But when you have federal allocation of 5 billion, the wage bill of 1.9 billion or thereabout, an IGR of 1.1 billion, by the time the federal allocation is coming and the banks are coming for their money.
The banks are not even coming.
How much is left?
ISB is not about what is left. What government finance is about is ability to be able to have a projection and be able to meet up with the projection. I will tell you, as at the time these facilities were taken, before the serious economic challenge, we meet our obligation, notwithstanding that we have taken this facility. So you must make a distinction between situation that was brought by forces and factors extrinsic to Osun and also extrinsic to the fact that we have taken facility. Even states, and I will not really, I may be happy saying it, who are not doing any project, they have financial challenges. So the question will be that the variable is not because Osun has invested money in infrastructure. The variable will have been that there's a general challenge to the Nigerian economy. Contrary to what was in place when, by the end of our second term, when oil was being sold for $38 per barrel, oil is now being sold for $77 per barrel. Of course, to have an effect on the economy of the country. So we must be able to...
So are you looking to an increase in federal allocation coming to the state of Osun? Or shouldn't you rather be talking about the state's creativity to increase its internally generated revenue, which is what is being talked about across board?
So let me now tell you now. By your admission, you said our IGR is now about 1.1 billion. The benchmark at the best of time when this government took over was 380 million IGR. So you can just look at the percentage of increment in our IGR. Yes, why we are concerned with the IGR, if you're a beneficiary of oil revenue, of course, certainly you'll be happy that the price of oil is going up. Those that are on the other side, they will not be happy that it's doing so. What I'm saying is that we are not emphasizing the returns from or the receipt from the allocation. What we are saying is that this gives us an opportunity to create an economic base that will make the state to be self and independent without having to rely on federal allocation. But of course, for you to be self-reliant, you must create an infrastructure base for a functional economy. And that is why our concentration now is to build infrastructure. And that's why the way we are doing our infrastructure is targeted at economic development. We have spent a huge amount of money on rural infrastructure, electricity, water, and rural asset and mobility program. In fact, the state is a darling of the World Bank in terms of that regard. Open up the farms to the market.
I'd like to look at more issues that directly fall within your jurisdiction. As a key member of this cabinet of the state of Osun and a close ally to Governor Ogbeni Rauf Aregbesola, I ask again similarly, Attorney General, still talking about adherence to the rule of law, has your government or governor been running party affairs in line with the spirit of fairness and according to the supremacy of party constitution?
I would say yes, unless there are evidence to the
contrary.
Tell us
why.
I think it's for anybody that says the governor is not following the constitution, that will now say this provision of the constitution is breached, this constitution has been breached. I will tell you, for instance, we have in place a democratically elected administration of our party at all levels, from the state down to the polling unit level. Then they also have meetings, they take their decisions. And more recently, there was a local government election where candidates emerged. I think if my memory serves me right, it's only in 2 wards out of our 400 wards that there was a contest as to challenge whether the candidate came out very well. So let's even assume those 2 wards were right. What is the percentage of 2 wards in about 400 ward in the democratic contest? And that is
we'll
the
talk
more
about local government elections.
Yes, I'm just giving you issue of democracy.
Some party members believe to the contrary, and although they are unnamed, but we're privy to a letter written to the national chairman of the All Progressives Congress, appealing to him to call the governor to order because he has hijacked party structure, and you are the de facto leader of groups that have now become more powerful than the All Progressives Congress in Osun State. I'm talking about Oromiyo Group, Ogbeni Group, Legacy Group,
Positive Force.
And you are the leader that determines who becomes what. Do you deny this?
I wish I have that power to determine what is what. The truth is that
but you nominated candidates for appointment into 2017 caretaker committees. Do you deny that?
You see, I'm a party leader in my own right in my local government. And when the structure, let me tell you, the structure of
You're a party leader, but you're also Attorney General of the state.
You see, Attorney General is a political office. The party leadership said all party elders in the local government should come up with a list of caretaker committee. And who are those that are the party leaders in all local governments? Current holders of political offices like commissioner, chairman, House of Assembly member, former holder of those offices, people who have played significant role in the development of the party in their local government. They are all over the place. So we sat down and we nominated people, 5 of them, to the local government, in each of the 3 local governments that that is under my purview, and we got them in. If you are not popular with your leadership in your local government, you cannot do so.
And you didn't
go to the courts.
Your,
even the copy of your letter.
Your position in any way by nominating those who you prefer or those who you would rather favor.
If I want to appoint, let's assume I have power of appointment, will I appoint somebody who is antagonistic to me?
These disgruntled elements believe that the ultimate abuse of the spirit of fairness was the appointment of a commissioner into this cabinet who held a key office in Ondo State as Director General of the campaign organization of the candidate of the Alliance for Democracy in the governorship election of that year.
You see,
so is that also fair?
The Yoruba is a question of fairness. So if somebody has been a special advisor here and is brought back to the same cabinet, I think what is the fairness they are talking about? They're talking about AD. You see, political contests have different dimensions. The same Bola Ilori they are saying is in AD. He just recently conducted a congress in Ondo, where he comes from, and his candidate emerged at the ward and local government congress. The candidate of AD they are talking about is presently in APC. So political dynamics should not be brought to issue of legality or otherwise. It was everybody in this country know there was a major issue about the Ondo election within the APC that led, to...
But at that particular point in time, the candidate was not for APC.
I want to ask
or
you...
this person
I want
was
to ask
not
you
for
a
APC.
question. I want to ask
he was
you...
for the Alliance for Democracy.
I want to tell you...
He could have easily been accused at that time of working against the interest of the All Progressives Congress, which is the grouse of these disgruntled people that you talk about.
Idiat Babalola contested in PDP, was still a card-carrying member and active of PDP in Ede South, and was appointed to the cabinet. There is no requirement of the law that a person must belong to the ruling party to be appointed a cabinet member. In fact, many people in the cabinet don't even belong to our political party. It's not a requirement. It's not an elective post by which you seek party nomination.
But you just talked about your position being a political position.
Yes, you can be appointed to political office, but does not say...
Politics also is about party politics.
No. Ajibola, until his death, was our leader in AD. And he served in the PDP government. So many examples like that. That's at the federal level. So at the state level, the governor has the prerogative to give political appointment to whoever he likes. So if you have a brilliant person we know can add value to our system and our society, I will not go to appoint him on the basis of... there's a difference between party politics and doing governance. When you want to do governance, you look for the best people that you feel can actualize your dream, can bring your aspiration into reality. And that's what we have done.
Party politics can also work at cross purposes with...
So for those one, the question you also ask is this. The question you now ask those these country people that what disability have they suffered by Bola Ilori being appointed as a commissioner here?
But they also believe that it is...
not only that, no, the president in our cabinet, our commissioner for education, our commissioner
within the APC has led to the decline of the interests of the party in by-elections that have been conducted in recent times, which may also work against the interests of the party in the governorship election.
The question you ask yourself, their sponsor has not attended any party meeting since 2014 when he became the position that he took in federal level. Is that how they build party? Or is it people that work against the interests of the party openly? When the campaigns were being done, where were they to campaign? And people talk about the track record of our party.
But that's the character of politicians.
So if
when their interests are not covered, they exit the party.
So let them
in one way or the other.
It's the Nigerian political space. I like it. There's free entrance and free exit. So nobody is holding anybody from exiting. But the truth is that Osun APC still remain the party to be beaten in any election here. Where are the opposition?
But you were beating in the by-election into the State House of Assembly.
No, not the State House of Assembly.
You were beating in the by-election into the office left vacant following the demise of Senator Isiaka Adeleke.
Let me give you...
Are these elections not important to the political calculations ahead of the September election?
Let me tell you something. When people are pessimistic, you will know them. We lost 2 elections, agreed. But we won more than 40 elections. Nobody mentioned those elections that we have won.
We found a state government in the All Progressives Congress also seeking court judgments that stayed action on the conduct of local government elections so that it could conduct it when it was convenient for it in this same APC government. So as a lawyer, do you subscribe to this seeming executive lawlessness demonstrated by state governors?
See me, I don't engage in fallacy of acid generalization. And as a legal practitioner, I deal with concrete, realistic controversies.
That's how it's been on Fireworks today. Of course, undoubtedly, you've come up close with the issues determining the 2018 September governorship election in Osun State. And of course, even for Osun residents as well. And they're better informed about what to do when they go to the polls. And we urge you again to join us same time next week when we bring you another incisive edition of the program. I am Bukola Samuel Webimo. Bye for now.